Hey everybody, we are live. We are live, and it is Tuesday, the something of May. Anyhow, I am here. I'm looking to share this because I've forgotten the last few times. So let me do that real quick while a couple people jump on here. Oh my gosh! Wow, what a great day! I'll tell you what, lots of things going on in the world, of course, but by the same token, we just, I don't know, life is good. Life is busy for a lot of people. Got absolutely gorgeous day here in Colorado, and so whatever. All right, hopefully the weather is good where you guys are at too. Today we're going to talk about visions and a little bit about goals, but mostly this is about writing down a vision statement or developing a vision statement and why you want to do it, right? So as you come on, go ahead and mark down that you're watching it live, hashtag live. If you happen to be watching the replay, then go ahead and watch or fill in that you got it a hashtag replay. Anyhow. All right, so why is a vision statement important? I want to welcome everybody that are joining. I can't see you as you're joining on, but I appreciate you being here. And if you drop something into the comments, I promise you I will respond afterwards. More than happy to do that, and I'm just excited that you're here. What is a vision, right? You know, what's the difference between a vision and a goal, and why is it important? As I mentioned in the comments, one of the things that is an absolute proven is that people that have a vision statement actually written down are far more likely to achieve their desired direction in life. Yet only 2% of people have a written vision. And I didn't know anything really about, hello Don, hi Jen. I didn't know anything about a vision statement. I was very successful without writing down a vision statement in the past, but I will tell you something else too. It is something that I have very clearly would lay out for myself. For instance, when I was working in a warehouse in my high school years during the summer months, I knew what I didn't want, right? I didn't want to be working inside a building all day long. I wanted something where I was outside and getting a breath of fresh air and everything else. All right, Don, good for you. You are within the top 2% of people that actually have a written vision statement. That's fantastic. And then when this whole thing started on laying, I started developing this vision for what I really wanted, and that was to become a pilot in the United States Air Force and then a fighter pilot. It basically was a vision statement. I just didn't have it written down. Now, a lot of the things that I wanted to accomplish along the way, I did actually have written down. So why is a vision statement so important? Because it fuels the excitement within you. It gives you direction, and it helps you design your life rather than allowing it to happen by happen chance. All right. It's going to help you achieve something major in the process of going after that vision. It reduces how you internalize criticism because it keeps you focused, right? So I know in this industry that my wife and I are in, for instance, in network marketing, there's a lot of sometimes negativity and there's a lot of things that go wrong, and it forces people to quit very early on, when it's just so sad, when their future and the possibilities of having everything in front of them is there. They allow outside influences to influence their decisions and their life making decisions of what they're going to do with their life. Now, when you have a vision statement, you have a strong vision, nothing is going to curtail that from you. All right. I had this interview with Lauren Harris not too long ago. Goes, Guy, you've reinvented yourself 3 different times. And I thought about it. I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. I never really thought about it like that, you know. But it is true. And each time I've reinvented myself, and he's talking about being a pilot, being an author, and also a professional network marketer. Each time there's a lot of people saying, oh, you'll never do that. You can't do that. But there's a lot of other people that say you can. Now, by having a vision statement, you know within your heart, because you're creating something from within you. That vision lies within you, nobody else. So you have the vision, they don't. Yet some people allow them to influence you. And when you do that, well, you go back to my book about discovering your authentic truth. Whose authentic truth are you living? If you're allowing outside influences to influence what the passion is that resides within you, right? Think about some of the greats from the past, like Edison and the Wright brothers. I mean, the Wright brothers, man, gosh, that story is just absolutely unbelievable. And of course, modern day Elon Musk, right? We're going to colonize Mars. We're going to go up against the big three automakers and create an electric car because they won't, right? John F. Kennedy talking about putting a man on the moon before the end of the decade and then did it. Amelia Earhart, first woman to fly across the Atlantic, talk about a vision and a dream there, right? And even Bill Gates, I mean, even though he's not the most popular guy in the world right now, he did revolutionize the world, because Bill Gates' original vision was to have a computer in every home, and he was laughed at over and over and over again, but his vision was so strong, and we are so much the better for it as a result. So a clear vision can transform your life. And if you get into the realms of leadership, you know, I love this saying from my mentor, Mr. Brad Hager: a leader of one, a leader of many. If I can't lead one, I can't lead any. And that one is yourself. Because if you can't lead yourself, how in the world are you ever going to lead others? How are you going to lead a family? How are you going to be able to accomplish your vision, right? And successful leadership is about leading a life by design rather than living a life by default. In other words, you create the life that you want, not by happen chance, not just, well, I hope one day maybe this will happen for me. No, you go out and create it. And one of the ways to be able to do this is with a vision statement. Your personal vision is about creating the mental reality before the physical reality. So you create it in your mind's eye first. And a great example of this is a home. Maybe you've got a dream home. I'm just going to use that. It could be anything that is a vision for yourself. But let's just use this because it's really easy. I think most of us can kind of relate to it. If you had a dream home and you sat and you thought about that dream home, and you can imagine, you know, the floor plan for it. You can see the interior, how it would be decorated, how many rooms it has, the office that it would have, and how that office would be decorated. I know Dawn has recently redone her office, but you know, does it have, how many floors does it have? You know, what kind of amenities do you have within it? And I know the kitchen, because you get in there and start describing the kitchen in great detail. So you develop that vision in your mind's eye, but that's not going to make it into reality. What makes it into reality then are the blueprints. When you, whether you're an architect yourself or you hire an architect and they start creating the blueprints to bring to life your vision. How about an artist? The same way, right? An artist sees the painting before it even is begun, all right? And it's the same kind of an idea. So why not do this for your life, right? I mean, we spend a lot of time, people do, watching TV or doing stuff that's not necessarily productive towards building their vision. Now, maybe some of the people that my wife loves to watch those home remodeling shows on HGTV and stuff like that, that's a dream builder, right? But you're watching other people's dreams. What about creating your own? And why not do it for every aspect of your life, which is what we're going to get to here in just a bit, all right? It's about you becoming better in the process. And one of my mottos is always to become a little bit better today than I was yesterday. I always want to be learning. I always want to be growing. I allow constructive criticism and listen to it so that I can become better. Well, a vision statement is going to also help you to become better because it's giving you a destination to head to. It's the journey. This is about the journey and who you become in the process of that journey versus goals, which is kind of like the roadmap, right? They're the mile markers along the way towards that destination of the vision. Your personal vision, which lies inside of you, will change your world and those around you because it deeply blesses and influences your life for the good, for the better, all right? The act of writing unlocks, okay? This is about writing it down, not just thinking about it, not just picturing it, which is a good start. This is about actually getting it down pen to paper and not typing it out either. This is pen to paper because it unlocks an otherwise dormant part of your brain that typing doesn't do. Writing is very, very powerful. I brought this out. I'm going to get into now about writing a vision statement, but I broke out this journal And I once before I broke out about 5 or 6 of these notepads like this and went through and showed how I had written. I call it the perfect life, right? What does my perfect life look like maybe in 5 or 10 years? What do I want it to look like? And one of those big dreams was to be retired at 55 with $5.5 million in assets and completely live the life that I want to. While I'm 50 at 57, I was able to retire. I didn't have a 5.5 million, but I got plenty of assets, and we're working towards that 5.5 million. And a lot of that's because I spent time early on years ago writing this stuff out. This one happens to be from 2011, so it's exactly 10 years ago, right? And you go in and you read some of this, and it's just amazing how much of this stuff has actually happened. So, with that being said, how do you even get started writing a vision statement? And some of the things that you want to do is, first of all, you want to fire up your imagination. Go for a walk, do some meditation, get alone with your own self. That's something that's going to really fire you up and get you driving. God, I need to write this stuff down. I spent about 3-4 days this go around. Spent about 3-4 days thinking about this in great depth. And with our team, with Sealy by Design, I had shared a very powerful YouTube video from Earl Shoaff. Now, Earl Shoaff was who mentored Jim Rohn, which many of you may be familiar with Jim Rohn, phenomenal business philosopher, coach, and mentor for thousands of people. Earl Shoaff, and Jim often mentions Mr. Shoaff, was his mentor. And in this YouTube video that I had shared with others, he goes into great detail about having a written down vision and then what to do with it afterwards. Really, really powerful. So I've been listening to this YouTube video at least once every day. I have one other team member that also committed to it. She's doing it as well. And we're listening to it once every day, sometimes twice a day. And I'll tell you what, it really started fueling things inside my mind as the more and more that I listened to it. So I spent about 3 solid days just focusing, imagining that dream home, if you will, right? So I'm building that picture inside my imagination of what I want my perfect life to look like. Where's the vision I want to go? And as Earl Shoaff mentions in this video, don't just have one. You want to do this for about 6 or 7 different items, right? So what I did is I started writing down some different areas of my life that I wanted to focus on my vision. And what I wrote down here, I got my personal conquest desires that I want, selfish, just for me type of thing, me and Elka. And then also my health and my vitality, my mental well-being. How do I want to be as far as a husband, as a father, as a son, as a brother, basically family. What does family mean to me? And how do I want to come across as a family member? Obviously for my business as an author, and how I want to, my goal in helping others. Being a speaker, I want to be a platform speaker. I want my book to become I'll get into that. As a leader, who do I want to be as a leader, as a giver, and what kind of legacy do I want to leave behind? So those are some of the categories as I was spending these 3 days envisioning this vision and getting prepared to write my vision statement. In other words, this is not something you just go, okay, I want this. No, this is something you really want to put some thought behind, right? I mean, if you're planning a vacation, and I can tell you because I've done this, so you're planning a vacation, you spend hours researching, and when you get there, what are you going to do, and all that kind of stuff, right? You spend a lot of time planning a vacation. Why not spend that kind of time planning your life, right? So that's what this vision statement's all about. So then I took each one of these topics that I mentioned, and then I wrote it out like desires. And I wrote down some things there. My business, where do I want to be with my business? My health and vitality. I just wrote out some key words, if you will, along the way. Author, speaker, mentor, leader, what I want to be as a giver, whether it's, oh my gosh, charity, or what I really want to get into eventually, or will get into, is philanthropy. I really want to give back, right? I can make a lot of money, but what good is that money going to do? There's only so much money you can have that's going to make you happier, right? But I'll tell you one thing that really makes me happy is when I'm able to better somebody else's life, especially one of our long-term goals is to have a ranch I won't get into details, but a ranch where underprivileged kids write an essay to be able to be sent to that ranch, all expense paid. And it's just amazing, amazing vision that we have. That's just one of them, right? And then on the next thing, I got this from this book actually, which is really interesting because I've been listening to this from Earl Schoaf, and that's what's really given me the desire to rewrite my vision statement. And now I started reading this book from my friend Rob Schallenberger and his dad Steve Schallenberger, and they're talking about vision statements in here. I'm like, you got to be kidding! And they're talking about the importance, what matters most, and one of the most important things you can do is write a vision statement. I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy, right? So the world works in mysterious ways. But one of the things that they recommend doing is writing down these 4 questions and then answering them, right? So in the next 10 to 20 years, what are some of the things you want to do or accomplish? And then the second one, your mentors. What are some of your favorite mentors, people that have made the largest impact in your life? What are some of their characteristics that you enjoy about them, all right, or enjoyed if they have passed on? So write down their positive qualities that you admire. Man, I had a whole, that was a long list of people. And it starts with probably outside of my dad, of course, my mom was my grade school principal, Mr. Murphy. My God, that guy he shape-shifted my life, truly. Amazing man. I love that man. Anyhow, so I go on down there, and I even wrote down books because I got a lot of my mentorship through the books that I read, right? We've talked about that in great depth last week in 2 different lives. And then third question is, what would you like to improve in your job, home, or community? So you're thinking about not only yourself, but you're starting to think outside yourself as well, right? I mean, that second question about your mentors is about character building, your integrity, your honesty, all those kinds of things that are important to you because you've recognized them in other people. Now we're talking about what can you do outside of you to help others. And then the fourth question that they recommend is, how do you hope others will look back and describe you 50 years from today, whether you're alive or not? Wow. That's a heavy one, right? One of my favorite books is Launching a Leadership Revolution by Chris Brady and Orrin Woodward, and in there they're talking about the legacy and leaving yourself a legacy and leaving behind your legacy. What kind of legacy are you going to leave behind? And maybe it's just within your family because you're not super famous like a famous movie star or what's the word I'm looking for? Shoot, an actor, actress, I don't know, and Elon Musk, whatever. I mean, somebody that's really left a legacy that we all know. But hey, your life is important and you affect a lot of other people's life. How do you want those people to see you 50 years from now? That's a really deep question. So you got to spend, a good 15, 20 minutes at least on each one of those 4 questions. On top of, as I mentioned, I developed my roles, or I listed down some of the different roles I have in life and what they mean to me and how important they are. And then finally, once I got all that down, then I started writing out my vision statement. All right. So then you write out that vision statement and you at least get started on it. It might not be perfected. And this is definitely something that I would recommend that you go back to again and again. Now, the thing that was really interesting about this Earl Schoaf video is that he says, once you write it out, you put it away and forget about it because it's in the subconscious mind. And that is a very interesting take. He says, when you pull it back out and go over it again and again, he says, it's like the farmer going in to pull up the seed to see if it's starting to grow. All right. He goes, no, you don't need to do that. Once you plant it in your subconscious mind by writing it out, you're good. All right. So whatever technique you want to use, I don't know what is right and what is wrong, what works better and what doesn't. I've done it both ways. I know with my career, as far as being a pilot, it was more writing it down, forgetting about it because I was so focused and so primarily driven into that direction. Nothing was going to curve me from it, just like I am with my business now here with Sealy by Design. Okay, so you write it out. When you write it out, you want to avoid words like hope, try, may, someday, those very vague, coming from a place of lack or, I don't know, very disempowering verbiage. You want to use words like I am and very specific numbers. 2 years from today, May 26th, whatever the date is, May 25th, 2022, I am enjoying this. da 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 da. Kind of like more like how you write out an affirmation, right? I create, I bring to the table, I do this, I am able to do that. My family is this to me. It's not what you hope it to be or whatnot. No, this is the vision where you're going, right? The destination. It doesn't need to capture everything. What matters most to you. All right. And then after writing this out, does it describe? You kind of want to do a little bit of a litmus test, right? So after you kind of write it out, then you can go back. Hey, does it talk about my health? Does it talk about money? Does it talk about my emotional strengths, my response to others? How do I respond? What is my overall behavior, my demeanor, right? How do I treat others? How am I ongoing learning? My knowledge, because if you're not ongoing and learning, you can never move to a higher plane than you are currently. All right. How do you communicate with others within yourself? Your outlook on life. Does the vision statement excite you? Did you address your character, your honesty, your integrity, your level of responsibility, how you're involved with harmony with yourself and with others around you, your work ethic, your faith? Anyhow, you kind of get the idea. So that's kind of what I wanted to share today. Hopefully that made sense. This is not necessarily an easy thing. If I was working with you one-on-one, we would spend probably, a good 4 to 6 hours going over what I just did in 20 minutes, right? So, but you get the idea, and I really want to encourage you to spend some time planning out your life and not just leave it to happen chance, all right? Don't let it just fall into place. Oh, maybe someday this will happen, someday that will happen. Take what I talked about last Thursday about wealth building habits versus poor habits and apply that with your vision statement. And I'll tell you what, you are within the top 5% of Americans with a vision and a direction to go. And then you want to start getting into goals and goal setting that's going to help lay out that roadmap to your vision. All right. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And thank you all again. I appreciate you so much right here in the heart for showing up and being here with us to share with this together. And if you're watching the replay, again, hashtag replay, let me know. And if you got any thoughts you'd like to share about it, if you've ever written a vision statement, I know Donna's already shared that. If you've never written one, if you ever thought about it, this is all new to you, or yeah, I do it all the time. Hey, share it. Let's get a discussion going in the comments. All right, y'all have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.